Welcome back to the YellowCard Vanguard channel. I'm your host, Toku from It's Toku TV on Twitch. Every Monday I'm streaming Vanguard content, and the past few Mondays we've been brewing up clan collection lists and testing them. So swing on by to be part of the process. We are now on day 9 of clan collection cores, and have you read Miscellaneousaurus yet? After you've done so, let's get the new Ancient Dragon support introduced in Clan Collection. You see, a few years back, on a routine dig for dinosaur fossils, a landslide broke out and nearly broke my leg in two. They had to operate quickly, so they used the dinosaur bone I found to save my leg. Ever since, I've had what they call Dino DNA. The doctor says it makes me stronger than the average Joe. Now, let's introduce our new dino friend. Spearheading the new support is Ancient Dragon Spinodriver! If you told me this was the name of Kamen Rider Vice's belt, I would believe you. Spinodriver has the skill on Van Circle that when it attacks or is rode upon, you can counterblast one and sack 2 rear guards to get an Accel marker, draw a card, and you're forced to call a hand to rear. Afterwards, 2 of your units gets 5k until the end of turn. Its second effect is a common effect between all of the new Ancient Dragons, and that is whenever you drive check a trigger, once per turn, you can equip the top card of your deck face down to this unit. My first instinct when I saw this card was, holy Accel markers, holy hand. Riding Spino over Spino and then attacking with Spino equates to 3 Accel markers generated for the turn, 2 draws off of the skill, and potentially another 3 draws off if you choose to go Accel 2. I wanted to build something that could make use of either the hand generation or the Accel generation this card provided. The new Grade 2 is Ancient Dragon Dino Crowd. Dino Crowd comes with a Van rear effect that when it attacks, you can Soul Blast one and retire one of your rear guards to gain 10k to start, and then another 5k for each of its equip gauges. Similarly to Spinodriver, it has the common effect to gain an equip gauge once per turn when you trigger during your drive check. This card is reminiscent of a weaker sweeper Acrocanto, as the power-up isn't a permanent, but it will hit hard regardless. The new Grade 1 is Ancient Dragon Iguanagorg. Instead of being an attacker, Iguanagorg is more of a resource enabler for the Ancient Dragons. Its first effect lets you counterblast one to recall him when he's retired from the rear by a unit's ability. However, if Iguanagorg has an equip gauge, this cost is free. The second effect, like the other two, gets you an equip gauge to this unit when you drive check a trigger. And of course, the new heal trigger, Indomitable Dragon Tachikaze. Like other decks that have a counterblast associated with a Grade 3, I think this should be included for sure to enable plays going first. Most importantly, and I know how much of a stretch this could be, but Tachikaze is also a decent attacker when you're just looking to match your opponent's face in. Instead of thinking that you're losing 5k worth of shield, I like to think of Tachikaze as gaining 4 more attackers in the deck. With the intros out of the way, I want to preface the deck I've built with my winning image. When I think of Tachikaze and what makes Tachikaze scary, it's Angerblader. My reasoning for running Angerblader as my win con was with how many Accel markers Spinodriver makes, I will have a lot of units in the front row, which will then give Angerblader's front row buff a lot more value. Furthermore, with Angerblader's first skill, that isn't once per turn, with all the hand I've theoretically amassed off of Accel 2s and Spinodriver resolutions, I can just slam down cards to equip my attackers with to ensure I'll have huge attackers in Sweeper Acrocanto and Dino Crowd. The deck aims to ride Spino twice and then Angerblader to finish off the game, getting 2 Accels off of our first Spino, 3 Accel 2s off of our second and the first on-road ability, and another 2 from the second's on-road ability and Angerblader's on-ride, thus increasing our front row units by 7 and also drawing 7 minimum. As such, we are running full playsets of Spinodriver and Angerblader as our Grade 3 rides. We also have full playsets of Sweeper Acrocanto and Dino Crowd as our major attackers we aim to restand with Angerblader. Jumping into our trigger lineup, I've chosen to run a 6-6 split of crits and draws. I've opted for crits over fronts, as with the large amount of power I aim to reach with Sweeper and Dino Crowd, the crit will apply a lot more pressure. I run the extra 2 draws as easy to call units that I can turn into equip gauges with Angerblader's cost. Seeing as my win con is Angerblader, I want ways to make sure I'm able to get my units to 3 equip gauges as soon as possible outside of Angerblader's. Turbo Smilodon is effectively 2 equip gauges for any unit I want and activates both on rear and van, making it very versatile as a soft attacker and as a ride. We're gonna max out on Turbo Smilodon. Savage Shooter similarly has the ability to provide equip gauges as both a Vanguard when you ride into him, but also as a rearguard. When doubled with Anger Blader's first ability, you can tap him to gain a gauge and then tuck him under another rearguard for our second gauge. For similar reasons, we've also maxed out on Lightblade Dragon Zandilofo. Just like Savage Shooter, we can use Zandilofo in conjunction with Anger Blader to get a quick 2 equip gauges onto any attackers of our choice. Finally, with our last 4 slots, I've chosen to run 4 copies of Ancient Dragon Iguanogorg. Spinodriver's Retire 2 rearguards is a real cost, and Iguanogorg being able to revive itself is a huge boon for this deck. 2 Iguanogorgs on board with an equip gauge on them can allow for easy double Spinodriver resolution. I was very surprised to see that Tachikaze had a lot that they could consider as alternate options if we were to focus on this Ancient Dragons package we get from Clan Collection. The most common alternative route I've seen is to use Emperor Dragon Gaia Emperor as the boss unit instead. Using Spinodriver to provide more Accel markers and thus more attackers, in conjunction with Gaia's first skill, can provide us with a larger army of solo attackers period. We could also stray away from focusing on equip gauges and look towards the Ancient Dragon package with the True Ancient Dragon, specifically True Ancient Dragon Terra Feed as on-hit pressure, True Ancient Dragon Hefty Starako as a stable attacker you can put on your many Accel markers, and True Ancient Dragon Aloneros to enable even more multi-attacks in conjunction with Spino's skill to call it from hand, just to list off a few. Similarly, we can also adjust our trigger lineup to accommodate more front triggers to respect all of the True Ancient Dragon second effect to gain a crit when we drive check up front. This new Ancient Dragon support has the benefit of playing into the equip gauge playstyle and the Ancient Dragon name playstyle, but also being generic enough to splash as an Accel making engine into any top end that you want. Pick these up if you're looking to draw a whole whack ton of cards while slapping your opponents with some dinosaurs. I think this deck will be a sleeper if someone manages to find out the perfect build. In any case, that's all I've got to say about Dinos today. Don't forget to read Misk. And I hope to see you back here on the channel tomorrow for the next Clan Collection core. This has been Toku, signing off.